Folks, welcome to the stream. I'm Rhinohorn7. You probably don't know me, but I am going to read every single comic DC has ever released, and I'm going to do that by reading 10 every day. I'm going to be uploading a YouTube video and streaming every day, reading 10 comics a day until I have read every single DC comic ever. And this will end when I've read the most recent one at the time I end. So, assuming DC keeps releasing comics at the same speed they are currently releasing them, I will finish in about 18 years. So let's get right damn into it. Alright. I'm not gonna complain about the name change again, but I still don't like it. This is terrible, Riz. This does not work. Don't try this. Don't walk by people's windows and tell them you're gonna serenade them later tonight. That, I promise, that does not work. These are the people who were saved by a caveman. So, because I was muted last stream, I don't think that clips in the video, but basically, Dale here was investigating something, and she was about to get attacked. Her and her buddy Dick were about to get attacked, but then this guy came out of his cave with a club and clubbed the guy over the head and led them back to his cave. He is literally a caveman. Those are his buddies? Dude, he's a monkey buddy! He is a monkey buddy! Uh-oh, dude. Okay, so what happened in this issue of 1720 Black is Jim Gale has gotten the pearls. Okay? He's escaped and is attacked by a woman with a gun. But then she says, okay, I'm going to help you. We're going to get on a ship. And then he gets on the ship. He doesn't want to get on the ship. But she forces him on and she captures him. And she's like, I want the pearls. And then the pearls disappear and someone shoots a gun. And it's like, uh-oh, what's going to happen next? Okay, so Steve and some other federalmen are being talked to by the director or something. And he's like, hey, a lot of stuff is going on. The submarine attack on the president and the looting of Washington and, everything that's going on. And then Steve is like, hey, this is part of this is my fault. I let that one guy get away. I'm sorry. And then he's talking, and then a plane comes in and bombs a bridge. And then Steve runs out and gets on a plane. Steve and Ralph, his buddy Ralph. I don't know who Ralph is, but someone named Ralph gets on the plane with Steve, and they go up and swoop in to attack the bombing plane. So, Steve and Ralph are in the plane. They're attacking the bomber, right? And then it looks like the bad guys are doomed until a new plane comes in, attacks Steve and Ralph's plane, and they start going down, right? Their plane, they lose the wing, and they have to abandon their plane and parachute down to the ground. Okay, so now what's going on is Ralph and Steve are hiding from the plane and it flies away. So they go back to the headquarters and they find out that a radio station's position has been located, and they break into the empty warehouse, which contains a contraband station, and they find the operator and attack him, right? And they hide him in a closet and capture him. And someone starts knocking on the door and breaks in and points a gun at them and yells, "Don't move." So the girl hears the captive in the closet. He's kicking and stuff. So Steve takes a chance to take her gun, and she's like, "Hey, Steve, I'm a reporter, and I need your help or something." I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to find out what happens in the next issue. 1. Sandra is now in Resbia. She was sent there by the Cavonian princess, and she is trying to sell information to Resbia. And it turns out the governor of Resbia already has the information. And he says, "Okay, I'll still pay you though, and hopefully your next information will be better." And she says, "All right, I'll try to make sure, my next information is actually better." And then some guy in a green cloak is following her. Okay, so some guy in green, right, he follows her. It turns out he's a spy from Gavonia. He says, hey, what are you doing? You're selling Gavonian secrets. And Sandra's like, no, I'm a friend to the Princess of Gavonia. And it's sorta you can't tell yet whether she's telling the truth and she actually is a friend, and if there's like something deeper going on, or if she's betraying her. And then Sandra throws a gun at the guy and knocks him out. Now what happens here is the guy wakes up and Sandra's pointing a gun at him and she's like, yo, I'm a friend, dude. I'm a Gavonian spy. I'm trying to get in the good graces of Razbia. I knew he already had that information. I just wanted to show my loyalty so they would trust me. Then some Resbian officers break in and they take away the Gavonian spy. And she's like, trust me, I'm going to save you. And then the issue ends. As I was saying, Dr. Occult and his buddy Zetor are flying through a supernatural world and they're heading towards the Seven. Suddenly, they're attacked by mythical beasts controlled by a villain, a being named Koth. And then the two are saved by the seven spirits or whatever, who circle them and protect them from Koth. Koth starts to attack them. Zetor and Occult help, using their mental abilities to scare Koth off, and Koth backs off. Occult and Zetor arrive at their destination, the hidden realm of the Seven. And then they ask who Koth is, and it's explained that he's a mythical creature who has a terrible hatred for men, for people. And that if Occult and Zetor meet him again, they will not survive. So now, Occult and Zetor are asked to go retrieve a mystical belt from Egypt that can defeat Koth, because Koth controls infinite evil forces. And if they want to save the human race, they have to use the belt to defeat Koth. Despite the dangers, Dr. Occult agrees, and he's given like a cape, a badge of the Seven, and a sword that is said to be more than just a normal sword. And then they arrive at the pyramids, and Koth notices that they have arrived. And that's where the issue ends. Slim Pickens just isn't the same since the gorilla left. Wait, find the rhino. Rhino! This is bad. This is looking bad for Steve Carson. So, okay, Steve is in a plane. He's flying around. He's dodging a giant robot. There's a giant robot attacking him. The giant robot suddenly catches his plane and smashes him down into the water and starts storming towards the city. So, how's Steve gonna get out of this one? How's Steve gonna stop this robot? I don't know. So what's happening here is Steve managed to jump out of the plane just as it was caught by the robot. He dove into the water and snuck into the automations, into the robot's legs. He found a hatch and snuck inside. And it was a radio-directed control room. So he begins trying to take over the robot's like movements and stuff. So he makes the giant passive, and then suddenly 2 more warrior robots rise and start attacking Steve. So Steve has to fight the other 2 robots, okay? He manages to pick one of them up and throw it into the other. He destroys the hangar and then the controls of the robot, and he escapes from it, parachuting down. He is then rescued at sea and returns to headquarters. Unfortunately, I did have to skip More Fun Comics issue 16 because it was just too hard to read. Okay, there were 4 comics left in the stream, and I did read them all, but then my internet went out during the stream, and I didn't notice until I had finished reading them all, because I didn't really look at chat, and that's my fault. So I've lost the footage for that. Well, there was no footage in the first place, technically, but you know what I mean. I did read all of them. They were good. And this is the 2nd day in a row we've had problems. Hopefully, things will be good tomorrow. Sorry about that, but goodbye, and see you in the next one. Peace!